Hey YouTube, welcome to Photography in Plain English, where we help beginning photographers to improve their skills and advance to the next level. I'm Zev Steinhardt. Today we're going to go over how I edited this photo to produce this final image. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. If you want to follow along, there's a link to the image in the description below. So let's get into it. So I belong to a photo group where the object is that every week we produce pictures based on a different theme. And a few weeks ago the group's theme was black and white. So I found this leaf in my backyard and I thought maybe I could make a nice black and white image out of it. I have absolutely no idea what species it is. If you know, please feel free to put it in the comments. I would love to know. So I put the leaf on a black felt background. I shot it with my 100mm macro lens, and this was the shot that resulted. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to put this leaf on a pure black background rather than on this black felt. I think it's going to give it a much nicer, cleaner look. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the object selection tool, which is in your toolbar. It should be over here, and if you can't find it, feel free to press the W key. So select the tool, and then go ahead and I'm going to make an outline. It doesn't have to even be terribly good, but just a rough outline around this leaf. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll go ahead and just let Photoshop do its magic. And there we go. It made a pretty good selection of the leaf. There are a couple of areas that need some cleaning up. Let's see. Over here, for example, it didn't completely go all the way in there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this tool up here, which removes pixels from the selection. And I'm going to just do a rough outline around here because I want to take this out of the selection. And there we go. This over here adds to the selection, and I need to do a little bit over here because the edge there didn't end up in the selection. Go back to the subtract tool, take out this little bit over here, and I think we are good. I'm going to right click, I'm going to feather this selection, say about 10 pixels is probably good, and hit OK. And now that I have the leaf selected, I'm going to go to Layer, New, Layer via Copy. And this will go ahead and put the leaf onto its own background. So now if I make this invisible, you see you have the leaf on a layer all by itself. Okay, now let's get the black background. You do that by adding a new layer. And this layer should be underneath the leaf. Go to your paintbrush tool. If you can't find it, you can just hit G till you get the paintbrush. Turn off these two layers over here, so you have just the blank layer. Make sure your foreground color is black. If it's not, you can always hit D, which restores the background and foreground colors, and the foreground color is now black. And then just click anywhere in there. And now you have a completely blank layer. And now you can add your leaf. Okay, now I think we're going to do a little bit of dodging and burning. Dodging and burning very simply is making some portions of the picture lighter and some darker. Dodging is making it lighter and burning is making it darker. And if you ever get confused between the two, just think like burning toast. When you burn toast, it gets darker. Same thing with the picture. So to do this, we're going to set up a neutral gray layer. We're going to do this by going to Layer, New, Layer, and we're going to call this layer Dodge and Burn. we will set the blend mode to soft light, and we will fill it with 50% gray. And hit OK. And this layer should actually be on top of the leaf. Now you notice we can make this layer visible and invisible. You'll see that there's absolutely no difference. And the reason is because when you use a soft light layer and you fill it with neutral gray, the two cancel each other out. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint in black and white on this layer to make certain portions lighter or darker. So make sure you have white in the foreground. And to do that, again, if you don't have it, you can always hit D to restore the default colors, and then X to switch them so that the white is now the foreground color. I'm going to take the brush tool, which is over here. If you don't have it, you can always hit B for the brush tool. I'm going to reduce the opacity to 10%. I already have it there. Usually my opacity is at 100%. But we're going to reduce it to 10, because if you do it at 100%, just to show you for example, the effect is really, really strong, and we don't want that. We want it to be subtle. So we're going to reduce the opacity to 10%. Okay. Now, we start painting. I think this area could be a little bit brighter, and this one here, and this area here, and this area here. Making the brighter areas just a little bit brighter. I'm going to make the darker areas just a little darker, so as to give the picture just a little more depth. I'll make this a little bit brighter too. Okay, now I'm going to hit X to paint with black to burn some areas. I'm going to burn here, and I'm going to burn here. And I'm going to burn over here, and all this, and this, and this. So now, turn this layer on and off. Gives it a little more depth, I think. Now, we are going to go ahead and I think we should make the reds a little bit redder and a little bit darker. And you might think, why are we doing that? Because it's all going to be in black and white. But you'll see when we use the gradient map. So I'm going to choose the reds. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, about there or so. And I'll take the yellows. A lot of times when you see green in plants, a lot of times it's the yellows that are affected. So I'm going to choose the yellows, and I think I'll bring them up a little bit. There we go, that's good. And now, we'll add another layer. This one is a gradient map. Here it is. Make sure you're using black to white. And that's pretty much it. You know something? I think I'm going to reduce the opacity on the gradient map just a bit. There we go. Not a lot, just a bit. Allow a little, just like a drop of color to come through. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm going to put my signature on that. I have a custom signature brush that I use. And again, with the opacity, let's put the opacity all the way up just so that it appears. I'm going to use white, so I'm going to change the colors again. Put it here. But I don't want the signature to overpower the image, so I'm going to reduce the opacity of the layer so that you can see it, but it's not really stealing the thunder of the picture. And that's it. If you have any questions about how this was done or any of the steps I took, please feel free to put them in the comments. I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. Also, it would really help the channel with the YouTube algorithm if you would like this video and subscribe. Until next time, keep shooting and keep editing.